Hi traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. I hope everybody's having a great trading session, and happy Tuesday to you. I want to expand a little bit on the conversation that Paul was having earlier about kind of accepting what you do in the marketplace, because I often hear that excuse, oh, the market's rigged, and it's like, no, the market's really not rigged. I mean, it is, but even if it is, and Sam said this, and I agree. Who cares if the market's rigged? Just follow the charts. You don't necessarily have to just follow the charts, but even if it's rigged, it's the world that you decide to play in. It's not gonna change because you say it's rigged. If it's rigged and you don't like it, then don't trade it. You know what I mean? But if it's rigged, then just learn how to play the game, and learn how to play it well, and really just follow your rules. Follow your analysis and follow your gut, and trade it. Don't get so upset about it's the market's fault. It isn't the market's fault. It is what it is, and you just have to kind of deal with it. Anyway, we got a lot of analysis to do today. We got PCE coming out, but a few things about the overnight price action. I did add to my Aussie New Zealand. I've actually got a really good cost average right now. I've got a good cost average at 105, 105.14, and which I'm just a little bit, just slightly positive, but I want to show you this Aussie New Zealand really quick. If you notice where we stopped at the 618 retracement. The 618 retracement, we obviously went a little bit beyond it, but really we're gonna have a key reversal day today if we can close near our highs of the session. This is a really very bullish event for the Aussie New Zealand if we can close up here. So I really like being long, as long as we'll probably hold the lows. I mean, as long as the lows get held, I'm not worried about it at this point in time. Also, the RBA, they did cut rates, and like I said, the market was expecting them to cut. And the risk was they wouldn't cut. Okay, and if they didn't cut, the Aussie would be up a whole lot more. But the Aussie, you can see, is outpacing like the Kiwi, and it's outpacing some of these other currencies too, such as the euro and not so much the pound. The dollar yen continues to get blasted as futures are coming down. The yen continues to strengthen, so you have to keep in mind that the yen is showing signs of life here, guys. The yen, in my opinion, is a very strong currency and has the potential to continue to rally even further, which we'll take a look at those charts here in just a few moments. But I do not have any yen exposure. Obviously at this point I wish I had yen exposure. I just don't have any yen exposure, but I think the yen is capable of rallying quite substantially at this point. I have the expectations of the yen, especially if the stock market continues to move lower, that the dollar yen could trade sub 100, and unfortunately there's not going to be a lot that the BOJ is going to be able to do as a result, because they've done, you've had the Japanese government, the fiscal stimulus, if you will, and you've got the BOJ trying to add to that, and the market doesn't care. The market's just buying yen regardless, which is really interesting. I actually want to be short yen at some point, but obviously it's not here. I don't know where the hell the dollar yen is going to go before we can actually start buying it and look for a turn. But man, it looks weak. The dollar yen does. The euro did rally above 112. Was expecting a move above 112 to 112.20. We didn't quite make it there. I'm not short the euro just yet, but I'm strongly considering it very soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at the euro dollar, and let's get our analysis done here. So the euro, once again, we were rejecting what I would consider pretty key resistance here. Let's remove that. We're looking for a dip to get on the long side for those of you that were thinking about it. Um, we have the potential at this point to challenge the underside of this trend line. Now, I'm going to go out to a 4-hour chart just to give you a little bit better view here. Um, you, this extension, you got to imagine that we break. You got to imagine that we break pretty good here. And this extension, the 127% extension, could actually take us up to 112.50. I've been I've been a little hesitant about shorting the euro, even though it's right here. I mean, it makes sense to short the euro right now. I'm not short the euro, but I'm just saying it makes sense to short the euro. You got the ability of it though rallying to, oops, yeah, 112.20, which 112.16 is the 127% extension I have here, or maybe 112.50. Those are both possible. Okay, they're both very possible. Now, I think that we can make it up there. I don't know if we're going to make it up there, but I'm not willing to short the euro until we try. All right. It's tempting to short the euro right now and just say, well, I'll just short the euro here and put my stops above 12.50. I'm not really confident in the dollar right now. Yeah, and Patrick H said, how about if we get weak data? Yeah, I mean, we got PCE, personal income, personal spending. How about that data comes in weak? I mean, we could very easily spike up towards that 112.50. So I'm going to write down resistance as being 112.20, 112.50. Okay, and that would be actually key resistance up there. I am still bearish as long as we stay below this yellow trend line, and you guys know that. As long as we stay below this 112, it was 112, now it's 112.50. As long as we stay below there, it's bearish. Okay, but I don't want to short it just yet. I think it might be just a hair premature. All right, now support. Support will be right here at 111.50. That's support. If this level gives out, then we know that that the euro is ready to turn lower. Okay, intraday, 111.50. All right, I'm going to put an asterisk there because I'm questioning whether to short the euro right now. I'm obviously not doing it, but I question, should I short the euro right now? The answer to that question is I would like to see it get above 12.20 or closer to 12.50. But if it gets below 11.50, then I'm going to start targeting it to the short side for the next couple of days. So in other words, if it doesn't, here, let's grab a pen here. If it does this, then I'll start shorting it like this, like right here, if it breaks down, I'll just start shorting it on rallies. Every time it rallies, I'll just start shorting it. That's how I'm going to trade the euro. Not so much shorting it right at this moment. I was short the dollar Canadian overnight. I did close it at earlier, so I'm 130.70 because I figured crude was going to bounce, so I played it to the short side. Anyway, just so you all know. Let's go over to the cable. So the cable's getting up there. I'd like to see the cable at 133. This is my I'm happy to be short zone area right here. All right. Any rally to 133.15. And as long as it's below 135, it does remain bearish. This is key. Support. You notice in this whole move here, let's get rid of this one. I guess we can stop there. It's a 50% retracement, basically 618. So you notice in this move, it's as choppy as it is here in the cable. The one characteristic that I notice is this. You see how we're making higher lows? As choppy as it is, we're making higher lows. So I guess you could also argue with me that, you know, we're making lower highs now. Okay, but I don't think you can get really too bearish until you break below 131.70. You know, a breach below 131.70 will start to expose some downside there. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Swissy. So, you know, as the yen continues to strengthen, the Swissy is coming into some pretty key support. Now, here's your daily from yesterday. Let's stop here. Okay, this is your daily chart. Now, I'm going to focus on this move down towards 96. If the euro can spike above 112, the Swissy may get down towards 96. If we get down towards 96, I'm a buyer down there. Okay, I'm a buyer down here. I really would like to be I might actually put in an order here to buy the dollar Swiss at 96 if we can get it. I think it's going to be a really good risk reward trade right through here. Okay, now resistance. Let me get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this. I'm trying to minimize some of these fibs so I can see what the hell is going on. It's so much going on at this point. I mean, what, you know, asking the question is like, what turns the dollar Swiss bullish? You know, if you don't get an opportunity to buy it down here, like let's say it doesn't even make it down there. All right, it doesn't make it down there, and so what actually turns it bullish at this point? I would say we'd have to break above here, right there. We'd have to break back above 97 to squeeze anybody who's on the short side, because anybody who's on the short side really doesn't want to, you know, they're not going to cover, not right now. You know, above 97, they might, you know, start to cover a little bit. Okay. Okay. Dollar yen. What a piece. Luca with the C says the Nikkei is imploding now. It is coming down. It is. I mean, look at the dollar yen. What a weak sister this is, huh? Okay, so for now, I don't think we need that anymore, right? We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need this. I'm just trying to clean up the charts a little bit. We do need this. Okay, and we can zoom in and we could do this. That's a pennant that looks bearish. So if we break through 101.40, this thing is stick a fork in it. 101.40. That's key support now. Okay? And if that breaks, forget about it. If that, sorry, yawning. I actually slept pretty well last night. I went to bed at a good time. I could have used another 2 hours of sleep though, but I slept a full night last night. It's good. All right. We have a pennant I mean, if we break lower, that's where it gets ugly. Now I'm gonna do this because if we can break back above 102, that's gonna squeeze. Then that doesn't happen. Okay, because if we squeeze past 102, we're gonna see a little squeeze going the other direction. All right, I I I um. Is bearish. Wow. Hold on really quick. Did you guys see this? Sorry, I turned my attention to boom. How many of you guys are along the Aussie New Zealand? Anybody along the Aussie New Zealand? Woo! That's nice. Few of you guys are. Hells yeah. That's nice. Boom shakalaka, mother son of a gun. You know how nice this daily candle is going to look? If we close up here? Oh man. Yeah, I have a pretty sizable position. I mean, I'm 2/3 size, so I can make it bigger. But yeah, we closed back above 105.50, and that thing is, next couple of days we should be trading up 107-ish, I would think. So I'd like to see us close just at the highs. I like it. Okay, let's continue on. Sorry, I had to turn my attention there. I digress. Virgo says I can make it bigger. I can make it bigger. I can make it bigger. That's right, ladies. No, just kidding. I'm now. Wow, I can't even believe I just went there. Oh, what were we doing? All right, let's go over to the. Let's go back over the Canadian. Oh, hello. All right, so over the Canadian. Geez, what happened there? It's too early. It's 4:53 in the morning. My clock says. Martin, Martin says I'm going to go to the corner and rub my positions. Come on, man. Seriously, let's not do this. It's not even funny. All right, you guys are sick, gross people. All right, dollar Canadian. And this stuff is being recorded too. That's the scariest thing. All right, so here's the dollar Canadian. I had a short yesterday at 130.97 or so. I had my stops at 131.50 something. I got out of my dollar Canadian. I figured that because crude. If you guys saw my tweet yesterday, let me see, which tweet was it? Which tweet was it? It was this one. So if you saw my tweet yesterday, right here. I was looking for crude to bounce off a channel support and bounce off this channel support. We were getting way oversold. So I figured crude was going to bounce. It's 40 bucks. We probed below 40 bucks. So the dollar Canadian, I shorted it. And even though we stopped at 40 and we were kind of bouncing, the dollar Canadian kept going up. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. So I threw in a stop. And yeah, I mean, fortunately, I missed my stop. And when I got up this morning, I'm like, oop, I'll close that out. So now I'm willing to buy the dollar Canadian. Not right at this moment in time, but I'm willing to buy it. And I'll tell you, if we can get back down to 130 to this support, I'll be a buyer. Because I think this is going to offer the best risk reward to be on the long side. Because if you can get long at 130, you can put in a stop relatively close. You can put in a stop down here like 129.80, but I'm sure everybody's trying to think, everybody's thinking about that too. Everybody's thinking, oh, I'm gonna buy it down there. So I might start buying it a little early. If we get down into the 20s, I might actually get long ahead of time. But I think 130 is going to be really key support here. 130. Resistance. Well, let's remove that for a moment and let's do this. It's something like this. I don't know how it's drawn, but I know it's something like that. So, well, and like I said, I don't know how the market's looking at this trend line, but I will tell you this much, that this is now resistance. So that means 131 and a quarter will be key. Okay. If we can blast above 131 and a quarter, that means it's bullish. If we break below 130, a dollar Canadian is going to have a really bad hair day. So 131.25, that'll be resistance, and we are in a range. Oops, in a range. Okay, I'll be back in a few moments, guys, and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. We're going to cruise through this analysis just to make sure that we get everything done. So here's the Kiwi. The Kiwi dollar is undoubtedly pretty strong. I mean, it's I think it's more of a function of dollar, dollar weakness as a whole. But it's obviously being outperformed right now by the Aussie dollar, which we still have this like double top, and I might actually have to, looking at it, trying to take a step back here, might have to actually look at it more as a broader base double top that looks like that. I still think while we're above this 72, let's call it 72.30. I'm actually thinking about shorting some Kiwi. Actually, I'm not going to do it just yet. I'll probably end up doing it after the PCE data, as long as the PCE data is not complete train wreck data. I'm thinking about actually shorting some Kiwi. So 42.30. 72.30, right? 72.30. It's resistance. We are in a range. Support. I mean, I have to write down support is the overnight lows, which is 71.60. Because we might be looking at this as a much bigger, because this is a failed double top, neckline, didn't follow through all the way. It might just be creating a bigger double top. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to short it just yet, but 71.60 is going to be support. 71.60. Okay, let's go over to the Aussie. All right, so here's the Aussie. We didn't stop at this support, obviously. Yesterday, we went a lot further. We are rallying substantially, but let's figure out where we can stop here. As opposed to RBA. Let's see, the 786. This is very similar to the Kiwi. We're going to have some difficulties as we make our approach here. So 76.20, I think we have to be aware of. Remember, we are still in the apex of this big triangle too. Don't forget the fact that we're smack dab in the middle of the apex. So that's why I think it's dangerous to get too entirely bullish the Aussie U.S. dollar. Now, the Aussie against other currencies maybe another thing. 72 or 76.21. Yeah, let's watch that. 70, 72, 72. Excuse me, really quick. 76.21. So 76.20. We're definitely in a range. Let's see here. On dips now, we're going to probably be fairly well supported on dips. Even if we come down, see all those hourly spikes right through here? Here, 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 all these hourly spikes through here. Then you have this right here. This whole area is probably going to offer us a lot of support on the way down. This is 75.50. This is 75.40. So this whole area should offer a lot of support. I'm going to write down 75.50 for now, but it should offer some support on the way back down. Okay, let's go over to the dollar index. Oh, and I got a comment from if you guys. This is from Nigel. Nigel said, "Hey, Blake, great call on the DAX yesterday. Thank you very much." He said via Forex Analytics. I did a DAX bearish pattern in play. We had an ascending wedge, and that's bearish. And you can see we had an ascending wedge, broke down. We also posted a really nasty reversal candle. Anyway, that was just up there. So thank you very much, Nigel, for that comment. Here's the dollar index. So the dollar index, not getting any rally. We didn't get any rally towards, to the underside of that previous support. We are now approaching some pretty key support here. So if the dollar breaks 95.30, which we're really close to doing, that's where I think that euro, spikes up to, if we break this, the euro will spike up towards that 112.50. So, if the dollar index can break through here, we'll probably end up doing this. Oops. We'll probably end up doing this. Something like that, if we can break through. Obviously, resistance today is right here. That's obvious now. 95.80. And we're in a range. Okay. Holy cow, the pound's spiking up right now. Look at the cable. The pound's spiking up through resistance here. Okay. Remember, 133 and change will be a big deal, but 132.7 might come into some resistance here. Okay, going back to the charts. Sorry, where was I at? All right, there's the dollar index. Let's go over to the peso. There it is. Here's the peso. Peso has been extremely strong, and let's back up just a little bit, and let me get rid of that. I don't know what I was doing there. Just get rid of that. And you know what I want to do right now? I'm going to delete everything. Okay. Now I'm going to take a step back for a little bit. Let's make sure we note a few things. Okay, so that's really key resistance. This is obviously, that's all massive support, right? Okay, this is the daily. I mean, look at how strong this trend is. I mean, this is just pretty damn strong. You know, if this market, you have to be more concerned at this point in time with the potential of the market rolling over, because if it does, you know, if the stock market continues to roll over, I mean, we could very easily spike up towards these highs. Let's go out to a 4-hour. High to low. 618 rejecting. So this is very big deal right now. 1898. 1898. If we break that, it's going to be very bullish. Obviously, people feel very comfortable shorting as long as that doesn't get broken. You can see it, twice now. I mean, you can see how everybody's just shorting it as you get into this resistance. I'll tell you, if we break it, it's gone. Support, hourly support's right through here. 1881. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the Norwegian krona. Here's the Norwegian krona. Well, that worked out pretty well, right? We said, well, on a rally to 850, it should reverse. That worked out pretty well, I'd say. So, 850, 840, easy peasy. 840, you know your levels here. 850. Oops. Range. Now let's go take a look at the Swedish krona, because this is actually one that I'm actually interested in buying soon. Ooh, maybe not. Let me think about that for a second, because here's the thing. You know what? Let's zoom to a 4-hour. How about that? Okay. Huh. Well, that's tempting right now. That's really tempting to. I'm like very, very tempted to buy the U.S. dollar Swedish krona right now. All right, I'm not going to. I was really tempted to buy it, and I'm choosing not to. Just because I know the data is coming out in 15 minutes, but man, that is really tempting just to not buy it and put stops below here. Because if the data is weak, then you're going to plow right through those stops. But this is very, very tempting for me. I'm not going to. 850, 250. Okay, let's write that down. We're really close. 850, 250. And resistance is 860. 860. Okay, let me take a couple of questions before we have all this data coming out. Your bias chart's done. Okay, But Joe says dollar Canadian waiting for crude to bounce to break down. It may.